Welcome back to the Carson and FERRIS High School Sports Show, brought to you by Salvatore's Pizza on our specialties hotline. Some guys who got a big week ahead. Pittsford boys swimming going after a 19th straight championship for sectionals. Tuesday night, it's going to happen in Webster. Joining us, Aaron Kusch and Carson Rehkopf. Guys, thanks for being on the show. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us
as well.
See, all the Pittsburgh guys are always polite, Steve. See that? Let's go back to last year at sectionals, because that was a magical year in the sense that you were tied with Fairport. Fairport had won 17 in a row once back in the 80s and early 90s. Pittsford had 17 last year, was 18. So Carson, what was that like? I mean, was that something you guys had posted on the board somewhere? I mean, was it in the back of your mind? I mean, how present was that we can finally separate ourselves from Fairport?
That's a good question. For us, from what I recall, I think it was kind of more of continuing the tradition. It was a little bit less about Fairport. Well, we all sort of knew about it. It was more kind of continuing the streak, really. And we all wanted to train and help each other out and basically swim our best in each of our events. And I think that we all sort of knew that this was the number that would distinguish us, but it also was more kind of about just, adding another year.
Sure.
So this year obviously has been way different, and in talking to Coach Schmidt running up to this interview and running up to the sectionals, you guys, Aaron, you're in that 10-day window where if anything happens with COVID, it could miss and things could be pulled apart. As a captain and as a leader, what kind of example and message do you put forth to your teammates to try and keep everybody on track and just, have everything in place so that you can make your best effort, put your best foot forward next week?
Yeah, so we've got a relatively young team this year. We got a bunch of new guys that are coming up who are, untested so far. So we're just trying to set examples. You're like, okay, now's the period. If you're going to take care of yourself, it's got to be right now. We're doing this for the whole team. Every swimmer has a vital role in the team, and then it's all for one and one for all. It's that kind of thing. So it's we've been telling them all season, keep yourself safe. Follow the protocols. Do what you're told, and we should go to sectionals with a healthy team, and we'll have some really fast swims. So.
Carson, Jeff mentioned the number 18. I'm going to try to build a little bit off 19. Not only would, a championship this year be 19 in a row, and Aaron alluded to this a little bit, but there's 19 swimmers on your team. And I believe 10 have been to sectionals and 9 haven't. So as somebody who's been to sectionals and going for the third time, how do you set an example? What do you say to those folks that haven't been there to maybe take off the nerves, because everybody's watching Pittsford?
Yeah. This year it's going to be slightly different. That's totally for sure. But I think talking to the younger swimmers is what I think works best. Whether that's on the bus ride there, when we're all huddled up together before the meet is about to start, or while we're stretching before we warm up. I think just kind of telling them that this is what we've trained for all year. This is what it's going to come down to. And you give it everything you got, and whatever happens, happens. And it's more of just kind of put forth your best effort, and you'll be pleasantly surprised at the results, I think. And kind of letting them know that all the work that they've done is definitely going to pay off. And especially for the younger swimmers, winning I think is also another great benefit to the past couple months of training.
Last year, you guys got really lucky. Your state championship was the weekend before everything fell apart with the pandemic. You're each part of a state championship relay team. Carson medley or Carson free relay? Which one were you on?
I was in the 400 freestyle relay.
Freestyle relay. Aaron, you were in the medley relay. See, I just can't get that right ever. And now you guys are on the same 400 free relay team that's going to try to defend the title. There won't be states, but over the course of the pandemic, did you guys really realize how lucky you were that your season wasn't interrupted at all. Everyone else had to just cut it short. Did you guys ever take some value in that? Aaron, did you look back on that?
Yeah, so I'd say the week leading up to it, everything started to develop, and then, it started like slow at first, then it got like really scared. It's like, oh, there's things going on in New York City, which was where States was. And it was actually the weekend after where they closed everything down. So, we did States, we had no protocols, we did great, and we were really happy. And then everything closed down. We are like, if it was a week later, that's the state title gone. And so, yeah, a lot of the guys from last year, and Carson and I, we like talk about it a lot. It's just kind of weird, just like, oh, we've never gone through this before.
The rest of your life, you can say you were a state champion. In a span of 7 days, that was almost taken away. That's pretty cool when you think about it in the big picture of things, right, Steve?
Yeah. And Carson, we're talking about what leading up to COVID. Swimmers are known for their dedication, and champions aren't built during the season. And you mentioned this a little bit. You train year round, and you do everything. How much did the pandemic throw off what was a normal routine and make things challenging building up to this season over the summer and up until now?
Yeah, it definitely changed a lot. It threw off our entire rhythm. Everything was closed after that, the week after States, and which meant pools were closed, any sort of facility. And a lot of our swimmers, at least a lot of my teammates, we sort of improvised. We did workouts on our own. We tried to find a way to stay in shape. And up until the point where we finally were able to get back in the water, it had been a very long time since a lot of us had, swam. And it was definitely a weird feeling getting back in the water and not feeling as great as we had in the past. And we kind of were at a setback. And, I think that the possibility of having a season kind of motivated me, and I'm sure it did for the rest of my teammates, but we saw that we were even lucky to be in the water, and we made every second count. And I think that's what we have been doing for the past few months.
It's a remarkable streak. We talked about the sectional streak, but also 87 straight wins in dual meets, a streak that started in 2012, January. Since 2003, 181-3 Pittsford swimming is. It's pretty remarkable. Aaron, let's see if this research is right. 200 IM and 100 back. That's what you're going to be swimming in sectionals?
Yep.
Plus a couple relays or just one relay?
So I'll be swimming the medley and the 4 free, as well as my individual events.
Carson, you come in ranked second in the 200 free and third in the 100 free, and 2 relays. So in 2 of the relays, and I said this in our pre-interview, guys, Hilton comes in with the number 1 time. Usually Pittsburgh doesn't look up at the board and see anybody above them. How motivating is that, guys? Carson?
Yeah, it is definitely a very large motivator. And I think it'll come down to how well we swim, and whatever happens, happens. I think it'll be great to have Hilton as a competitor, and it'll be a lot of fun to swim against them.
He's not here, so let's ask you about Rick Schmidt, the coach, who's never lost a dual meet, 13 years in. Aaron, what's he like? Is he an intense guy in practice during the meets? What's he like?
So, I don't know. I feel like Rick has kind of been my role model since freshman year. He's he can be serious when it's needed, but he's also a laid back guy. He makes sure everybody feels like they're part of the team. But sometimes, when the practices get hard, he's there to push you, and he's there to remind you, what we're chasing and what all the guys before us have, worked so hard to, and we need to continue that tradition. So I feel Coach is definitely, one of the reasons why Pittsburgh has been able to remain, next to undefeated while he's been in the program. So he's definitely something that I look up to, and I know all the rest of the guys do too.
Carson, does Rick do anything where you hear a little like Coach Schmidt voice in your head? Does he have any catchphrases or anything that when you hear that phrase, or he doesn't even have to finish the sentence and you know what he's going to say?
There's one thing that he said. Actually, there's 2 things. one of the first thing that comes to my mind is it's what you're doing when nobody is watching that counts. And I think that's sort of one of the things that he pushes onto a lot of us, especially younger swimmers. And it's something that is very motivating at times. You know, it's pretty easy to, you know, give up or take that breath. And when you think about that, you know, it doesn't matter if he's watching or not, finding that willpower within yourself is pretty motivating. And I think the second quote that comes to my mind is, you know, nobody's ever left the pool dead. You'll be fine. It's another kind of, you know, reality check that you can work hard and that pushing yourself, it's really important, and it's something that we can all do. And I think stepping out of our comfort zone is one way that we can achieve success.
Pittsford Swimming, we appreciate your time for the interview and wish you the best of luck on Tuesday going after the big 1-9. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys very much.
Aaron Kusch and Carson Rehkopf here on the show. Steve Bradley, great job as we head into another rest of the weekend. Steve, I want to tell our listening audience about my friends in Bath Fitter. One number to remember, folks. Actually, it's 7, actually. 617-0007. Bathfitter.com. They can remake your bathroom in one day. I don't talk about anybody on this show I don't trust as someone that's going to do work in your house. Check out what they can do online. Bathfitter.com. And please tell them you heard about it right here on our radio show. Thanks for listening to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show brought to you by Salvatore Pizza.